months to talk about the work that they did as part of that challenge. And so for a bit of context about what that is, if you're not familiar with the Youth Employment Challenge, basically it was an exciting couple of firsts for Civic Tech Toronto. It was our first time formally partnering with a government agency, with ESTC, Employment and Social Development Canada. And so we worked with them to develop a challenge that would create prototypes and also create learning both within the community and transfer learning between the community and government. And so it's really exciting that we were able to have the opportunity to kind of step into that role as a community. And so and I should mention that Peg, who's here in the background, is from ESCC. So thank you very much, Peg, for making this happen.
And an exciting collaboration.
Yeah, it's been really exciting, and it's really wonderful that you're here now to see what the outcome was from the project. So it's really exciting to see projects like this starting to happen in this community, and hopefully we'll see a lot more of them. So we're really excited to have been able to do a challenge like this. And we received, there were 6 submissions to the challenge, and they were all great, and they were all wonderful, and they all met the like kind of criteria that we set up at the beginning of the challenge. There were a lot of them, and we don't have enough time, unfortunately, today to hear from all of them, but we will be hearing from several of the teams that participated in the challenge to kind of give a bit of a sense of what teams produced, but also how they got there, which I think is a really nice story that some people are, I understand, planning to share. So without further ado is such a corny phrase, and I'm sorry that I just used it. I'm gonna toss it over to a few of our teams that participated in the challenge, starting with the Bridge team. So Philippa and Jane, please come on up.
What resources already exist. We found that there were already quite a lot of those types of programs for youth in Canada. So the problem shifted to how youth access and learn about these programs. Everyone we spoke to who had participated in a mentorship program or a youth-specific work program had heard about it through a friend or a colleague. So we felt that this wasn't really good enough, and finding out about these programs had to be left up to chance encounters. So we conducted 6 in-depth interviews with youth with different lived experiences, and we learned a lot. 3 key takeaway points that we found were that youth often feel lost after high school and don't always have people to talk to or networks to access. Career centers and guidance counselors aren't always very helpful, and interpersonal relationships are what matter most in terms of achieving career success. And finally, we learned that there are a lot of programs out there, but if no one knows about them, what purposes do they serve? So as a response, we designed Bridge. Bridge is designed for young people in grade 10 onwards, and it's particularly for young people who have limited access to career services. So we know that youth who have attended post-secondary education have access to career services at their institutions, but this isn't always the case for youth who are in high school, and then also youth who have finished high school and are not continuing their education. So also within high schools, we found that guidance counselors don't always have the most up-to-date information or resources, and often don't adequately support students in their career path development, as we learned about in our research. So we imagined Bridge as a nationwide program with different regions showing specific regional employment resources.
So Bridge is an aggregate site that contains, ideally, all the relevant career-related resources in the user region and in a user-friendly way. Bridge aims to increase employment among young adults by providing clear, concise resources on job market and educational programs. The main outcome of this is to empower young adults to think about their career and make informed decisions.
just have to walk.
Okay. Bridge mainly intervenes at career studies class in high school. In Ontario, career studies is a mandatory half-credit course that students have to take to graduate high school. We propose a career advisor named Sam, who will go through different high schools every week, kind of like a pop style, and they will provide, promote Bridge and also provide one-on-one counseling for students who make it based on questions. So this is the prototype we created. To give you an idea of the design, overall design, the color green was chosen because it represents clarity and growth, and we wanted to convey that that's what we can achieve from using our resources. Purple is chosen because it contrasts green. So we want to acknowledge that there is a lot of tension in finding out, navigating a career path. First, we start off at the top. Yes, on top here is a description of what this purpose of the website is. And as you go down, it's quotes. So the quotes are meant to redefine how we think about work. It's very different in 2016 compared to 20 years ago. And for example, one of them is, we have at the bottom here, spend 80% of your time networking versus 20% finding jobs. So we're really trying to crack this myth about what work is like today. Compass is a way to approach resources at a macro scale. So this is, we try to funnel all the resources we think of into 3 stages. Explore, research, and formulation, and this is to help people identify what kind of sources they might use. So this is more the macro level. So for example, we have TED Talks. Maybe it can provide inspiration. That's an explore stage. We have career cruising, which links to that. Career cruising, which is career exploration, and personality tests. We have a couple of things here. And finally, pointers. So pointers is on a different scale. It's more specific. This one, for example, is the articles or blog posts. For example, the one we have is networking versus applying online, which is better.
So we sent this demo to users from the research stage and then also to a bunch of 15-year-olds. And we did some testing and we learned a lot. The 3 main takeaways from the testing were that, firstly, most people didn't understand how to use the site. So it wasn't obvious from the homepage what the site's purpose was or how to really navigate it. So we came up with a few solutions, which was putting the kind of blurb at the top and then also adding in some extra kind of pointers and how to use the page. Secondly, it wasn't clear what the difference was between the compass and the pointer page. So we decided to add some short descriptions beside the titles to help users understand what to click. And then the third point was that the different stages weren't completely obvious on the compass page. So we decided to make the text larger and bolder to really differentiate between the 3 stages. So we don't really have any immediate plans to continue this project, but if it sounds interesting to you, connect with us on Slack, and we can discuss it further.
Awesome. So the next team that is going to be talking a bit about what they, or I say they, it's actually one person. Jonathan developed a project called Employer-Employee Vouching Authenticity Platform. Okay.
All right. So hi again, everyone. So essentially for my project, I basically, as a small business owner and as someone who works with a lot of startups, I try to imagine what are some of the barriers to entry for young people seeking employment. And just from my own sort of prejudices, what I imagined, of course, when you think about young people is, one, they have limited technical skills. You don't necessarily know what sort of aptitude or professionalism they may have. And of course, and please, tell me what you guys think. How many of you think that CVs are completely truthful and transparent? I think probably very few. So that was the sort of place from where I decided to start working. And to address some of these prejudices I had, I created a super scientific survey, which I sent out to a dozen small business owners that I know. And essentially, I wanted to see where they stood on sort of these different issues. So in terms of references, for example, you can see that it's actually a bit of a mixed bag, with most people sort of being on the fence as to whether they believe references in CVs are legitimate, and then kind of the rest of the people going, you know, either way. So not really much revealed there, but 1 in 3 did, you know, outright say that they would be much more confident hiring an older person with the same set of skills as a younger person. So I began to think about how we can go about potentially addressing these problems. And what I thought might make sense is if you had a more reliable means of verifying employment history, if you could vouch for not only a person's technical skills, but also their personal aptitude, and if you could create a mechanism or platform in which not only could employees vouch for employers, but vice versa, I feel like you'd be kind of you know, in a much better position. So the idea I had was to create a platform where you essentially take something like the LinkedIn endorsement system, which we probably have all seen at one point or another, but unlike the LinkedIn endorsement system in which anyone can endorse anybody, and of course most of your endorsements will come from friends, the idea was to have a system where only verified and hopefully, you know, as a government-run website, you could essentially enable a system where the government could verify a relationship between an employer and an employee, mark it as legitimate, and then enable both the employer and the employee to leave feedback for each other. And this feedback, as I say, would include not just technical skills, which are easy enough to verify, but also personal traits, which I feel are often kind of glossed over in the CV process. So I took this idea, and again, I sent it back into my survey. And just in terms of hiring confidence, if you had a government verified means of checking employment history, to what extent would that increase your confidence in a hire of a young person? You can see that most respondents responded extremely positively to that. Along those same lines, and I think this next slide is probably the most important one, all my respondents essentially answered in exactly the same way to say that if the website could both endorse technical skills and personal traits, that would equally increase their confidence in the hire. So my conclusions from that are, again, we tend to gloss over people's personal traits. You know, is someone resourceful? Are they quick study? Are they ambitious? Are they, you know, punctual? And these things are important to employers when it comes to employing young people. So I mocked up a bunch of ideas for what a website like that could look like. I'm not going to go through every step along that, but just as a high level, it could look something like this, where you see that skill endorsements and trait endorsements are listed separately, but essentially treated with equal importance. And you'd have a certain amount of feedback where employers could review employees and vice versa, creating a database where not only young people can find employers that are you know, well reviewed, are nice places to work, that they can have a little bit more confidence in approaching, but similarly, employers can have more confidence in reaching out to young people, which may lack in technical skills, but may shine in other areas. And so I took this. This is actually not the first iteration of this. This came from a lot of user testing, but went through a few iterations of what the user interface would look like. And in the end, there was some interesting feedback that was given. Some people brought up that perhaps images and names can be abbreviated or removed to further kind of reduce that innate prejudice towards young people, which I thought was really interesting. There were some concerns that, you know, lack of positive feedback could be an impediment for a young person, so there was some thought about how we could kind of delay displaying scores if not enough feedback had been received, and weighing scores to sort of, you know, compensate for poor employees and poor employers. And very interestingly, a lot of people thought that on top of having technical skills and personal traits, it'd be nice to have a similar endorsement system for volunteer opportunities. and hobbies and interests. So overall, that's what I came up with. Given enough time, it would have been fun to make a working prototype, but given the short span, it was still a wonderful experience. Thank you.
Sorry, we just threw together a presentation yesterday, so we don't have any slides, but our voices and our presence will be done. So what we thought, youth are used to using amazing tools to do things in half a second that took generations, hours to do, such as searching. There's a gap between the initial groundwork that it's required to find that first job and what youth have learned to do in basic search processes for everything else. So what Neighborly is for youth to find new connections, networks, and opportunities close to home, where the applications are more competitive, so they can gain valuable job experience to be successful in a wider job market. We do this by taking a modern data approach to guide unemployed youth to establish real human connections and networks, providing them valuable information about current jobs and volunteer opportunities, information about companies and previous postings, and how to reach out and to who about current jobs and non-advertised positions. Basically, we're using a technology platform that youth are used to guide inexperienced youth on how to connect with local employers in a way they're used to. And we just show that.
So I'll do a demo of the app. Did you want to add something?
Well, I just want to say, basically, the idea was to help communities kind of grow in a little bit more of an organic way. So, if you are looking for work within a community, using this app, you can actually help find, it's supposed to help you find volunteer and job opportunities a little bit more local.
Yeah. All right. So basically, what we've done is we scraped a bunch of jobs off of the Canada Job Bank and plotted them on a map based on the location of the company that advertised the position. So what we can do now is that anyone can search by location. So you can search near me, for example. There we go. So this is showing us all of the jobs that are in our current neighborhood, and there's a lot. So the next thing we can do is filter for the title, for words in the title or the description. So I'm a developer, and I would like to find another developer job. So this is what's available. So we've got a couple different options here. So you can click on it and get sort of like a brief description, which is also scraped from the job bank. We've got a link to the original posting if you want to get more information and apply. And you can do that for any of the jobs on the map. So that's a cool way to search for jobs. We've also got the option to search volunteer positions only. So we think that it's just as important to get volunteer experience as actual job experience. So we made it just as easy to search volunteer positions. We don't have as many because we had to enter these ones manually, and we just entered a few to give you an idea of what that would look like. We've got a few volunteer positions here. And one of the key features of the app is that we wanted to make it really easy to post a job. So the idea is that it's not just an employer that would log onto the website and post a job that they're hiring for, but anyone could add a job that they know about or have heard about, or even just see for wanted, like a help wanted sign on the street. They can just take a photo and upload it really quickly, and add the rest of the details as necessary. So just to give you a quick demo of how that works. Oh yeah, wait, never mind. Sorry, this is my laptop, so I don't know what images are on here. Okay. The point is, it's really easy to upload a job. As you can see, it's just you can take a photo with your phone, add upload it here, add the title, the employer, and you can either use the address if you have it, or you can just use your current location if you're standing in front of the business. So that's about it. Does anyone have any questions about this awesome demo application? One question?
Very quickly.
Really quick first.
What?
Oh no, I'm saying that we don't really have microphones.
I thought you had that function where you can forget
like post if you heard there is a job, right? Did you guys mention it? That
Yeah.
you can, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't have to be the employer to post a job. Anyone can post a job.
And then it could be like verified later, or you can verify it yourself.
That would be a cool thing. You don't actually verify the job. Okay, that's it.
Hello, everybody. I get to use my monotone voice again. Yeah. The slides loaded. Oh, did you get the? No, sorry. Oh. Hello. It's very adorable. We're a team Employ Me. We're going to be talking about our wonderful, wonderful product, Employ Me, which is a chatbot. So this was my life about 6 months ago. Well, no, it's more than that. About almost a year ago. This was what was going on in my life. 600 tabs, frantic panicking, and then I lose a tab, I can't find it anymore, and you're like digging through like 3 different websites, like, where did I look for that job? Can't remember, just can't. It's a really big problem. Like, we do this all the time. It's such a huge kind of barrier in actually looking for specific jobs and work, and the subsequent research, so on the next slide, this is actually the subsequent research you have to do on one specific job as well. Look for the job, see who the hiring manager is, so you might be able to get an information interview. Look for your rights on Ontario, the ministry websites, to figure out how much you should be getting paid on Glassdoor, figure out if it's even a decent company to work for. There's so many issues, there's so many tabs that you open. So for all those 600 tabs, to do my due diligence for looking for a job, I would have to have done this for another 600 tabs. It's crazy, too many tabs. There was no centralized place where I could go to actually look for work and actually have it all saved up and actually queued up for me to actually go and apply and actually figure all this out, which is why we turned to Facebook. This is Employ Me. It is a chatbot. How many of you guys familiar with chatbots? Oh, okay. It's actually pretty good. So basically, chatbots run on, specifically ours runs on Facebook. The majority of Canadians now, especially us young people, from my understanding, can't remember the statistic because I can't see it. There's a lot of people using Facebook, and there's also a lot of people using it as the Messenger app. And it'd be nice for me anyways, going through this process, it would have been nice to actually just spitball ideas. Even if I knew it was a chatbot and I was talking to it, it'd be nice actually for it to document everything. And that's why we thought it was a really good idea to have all these job postings in one centralized place. Now, so now Michelle can explain it.
Alright, so we're going to do a live demo. We'll wait for it to log in. So our chatbot sits on a Facebook page right now. So the Facebook page is called Employ Me. Right now it's in the early stage, so we haven't actually submitted the bot for app review, so it's not open to public. If you want to use it, you can just shoot a message to the page and we'll add you as a tester, so you can actually start talking with it. Try to find Okay, so this is where it sits, and then we're going to start messaging it. So there's 3 basic things right now. You can look up jobs, events, and Glassdoor. So like we'll start off by entry point. Let's say we hit jobs. Yeah. So you enter like jobs and then space a keyword on any type of job you're looking for. And then we'll respond with a payload of like 3 different sites. So we scrape, I mean, we don't really scrape, we'll give you 3 links, either LinkedIn, Indeed, and Craigslist. So what you can do is like open any of the buttons, so like link you straight to the website. So just search your keyword with, on those 3 different sites, and we'll just give you the results. Also, if you want to share need searches with anybody else, you can share it to your friends. The next one is events. So let's say you want to keep up to date into events on whatever field you're interested in. Same thing as the job, you just type events, and it'll give you three different responses from, 3 different sources. So Meetup will give you a meetup, we'll search Meetup for you, and Eventbrite and Facebook events. It's not working. Okay.
He's being a bit stubborn right now.
Let's try companies. So I can also look up Glassdoor reviews for you. Hopefully this one works too. Okay, there we go. It'll look you straight into the Glassdoor reviews that you can look up for the company that you searched. So you want to talk about future?
Yeah, sure. So obviously we didn't have enough time to make like the full vision of Employ.me, which is essentially an AI assistant for your job hunting, because there's so much involved with applying for jobs. You need to talk to people, you need to network, you need to attend events, you need to write your cover letters, so on and so forth. And so our vision was to make a fully AI assistant for your job hunting, and some future ideas would have been to integrate it with some AI API or some natural language processing integration. But for now, this is our GitHub, and it was built on Heroku and Node.js and the Facebook graphic, so it's still quite open to contributions. So please check out our GitHub page and feel free to contribute. Or if you're interested in just making a bot on Facebook in general, it's not much. So.
Awesome. We're a little bit over time, so I won't say too much more, except that